Hello everyone, in this video I'll show you how to control what each user role can see and access within the ticketing platform. These settings can be found if you go to the admin menu and then go to the settings option. You will be directed to this page where you can see tabs at the top, right? The first tab that you see here is the ticket settings. That's for another video, but we'll go straight for the table visibility. So basically on this tab, you're able to control what tables within the ticketing platform your staff is able to see, right? For example, the AFEPO table columns and the table, it's right now it's accessible for field user office and admin office, right? But for example, if you don't want the field user to have access to this table, complete table, you can on market, right? And then you click save, right? So you can save your changes. Then I'm gonna show you here. If you go to the AFUPO page, now the table has been hidden, right? Now, if you want them to have access to that table, then you simply mark the row that has access to that specific table, and then you click save again. And if you go back, then they'll be able to see all of this information all of the table. Now, you can also manage the tables by columns. So, for example, some companies don't want their staff to have access or to be able to see budget and running cost, basically all of the dollar values. So to control that, you can go to the column rows here. And for example, running costs, we're gonna uncheck mark the admin office, which is the user that I'm currently log in as. So I'm going to uncheck mark the admin office and just leave the office for them to see the running costs, right? And what else? Maybe we also you don't want them to see the budget, right? So we uncheck mark that and we just leave the office role for that. And then if you go down and save the changes, now let's go back to our AFEPO table, and as you can see, all the dollar values are gone from that table, right? And this is how you control what columns your staff have access to, right? And you can do the same thing. It works for um, this is the AFEPO, so it works for AFEPO table, job table as well. You can manage who has access to the entire table or control the columns that each row has access to, right? By check marking or uncheck marking the rows that should have access to this a specific table or column. Same thing for the tickets, right? You have the table, you can hide it completely from a specific staff or manage the columns within that table. Now the next tab that we have here is menu visibility. So this menu visibility is basically for the menus that we have here on the left. So if you want, for example, the field user to have only access to one page, right? They're only going to be creating tickets. They don't create jobs. They don't mess around with anything related to the AFEPOs, customers, adding users, none of that, right? So if you just want the field user to have access to this ticket, then you um, uncheck mark the home. You can uncheck mark the AFEPO, the jobs, the tickets. The tickets page will be the only one that they will have access to, right? And I can show you here again. I'm going to do it with the admin office because this is the role that I'm logging as, so that you can see how it looks, right? So I'm going to basically um, hide a homepage, AFEPO, jobs, and tickets page for me. I'm gonna save the settings, and as you can see, they're gone, right? They're gone from my menu here on the left, and that's how you basically control what menus your staff has access to, right? So I'm gonna put them back in here. Perfect. And then I'm going to click Save Settings, and they're back into my menu bar here. Perfect. So that's how you control basically the menus for your staff. And then the next thing that we have here is the tax visibility. So this particular control is when you add tickets. Let me show you quickly. When you open up a ticket and you want to add a labor charge, some people don't want staff to be able to see the the amount of the dollar amounts, right, on their user interface, especially when they're adding this charge, right? So when you add a charge, if you don't want the field staff or to see this dollar amount, right, you can manage that by simply going into the settings here, tax visibility, and again, I'm going to remove this, right? Save my settings. Now, if we go back to the ticket here, right, and we try to add a labor charge, remember how it was displaying the dollar value here at the very bottom, and now it doesn't show anything, right? And we already know what tax are applicable to that charge based on the tax administration that was set up previously by you. So all they have to do is simply click save, and that will add the labor charge to your ticket without showing the dollar values, right, for the field staff or for any staff that might that you don't probably want them to see dollar values. So again, I'm just going to put it back in and save it. So that's for the tax visibility. And the tax visibility basically works for the three charges, right? Labor charge, equipment charge, and material charge. You can manage those. So the next step that we have is the button visibility. So you can configure which row can see each action button on a particular page. For example, on the AFEPO page, we have three buttons, right? Add AFEPO, save as CSV, and send as CSV via API. So if you don't want field users to add AFEPOs or they don't have that permission, then you can simply on check mark that and just allow the ones that have that authority to add AFEPOs, right? In this case, Office Admin and Admin Office are the ones in charge to add AFEPOs into our system. So those are the only ones that will be able to see that particular buttons on that page. And I can quickly show you here how it looks. Let me just put my add AFEPOs menu here. And now see if I go to AFEPO, I can see the button right here. Now if we go back to settings, button visibility, right? And I'm going to hide that from me, right? Save settings. Now if you go back to this page, the add button disappears, so they no longer have permission to add AFEPOs. Again, that's for AFEPOs, but it works the same for sorry, it works the same for jobs, right? As you can see in jobs, we have three buttons: add job, add CSV, save as CSV. I'm sorry, send as CSV via API. And on the tickets page, we have seven buttons: add tickets, and for approval, merge and create invoice, and things like that. So you can manage all the buttons depending on what permissions each row has, right? And the last thing that we have here is the budget visibility. So the budget visibility is basically on the home page, we have this budget overview page where it shows you all it's a dashboard, right? Where you can keep track of the amount of items that you have used or shipped depending on the PO. So, for example, if you don't want field staff to or any other role to have access to this budget overview, you can manage that by simply going to the menu visibility and block them completely from that menu, right? Block them completely so the menu disappears from them, right? It will be gone, or you can just control the things that they could see, right? In this case, some companies don't like for some staff to have access to the dollar values. So, for example, if you want admin office to have access to the actual values and the dollar amounts and things like that on the budget overview page, then you can do so by check marking those three options, right? So now if I go back here to my budget overview page, you can see that I can see dollar values now, right? Values, budget, and actual amounts. But again, if you want to block that view from a specific row, you can uncheck mark the budget row, the actual row, and the value column. so it doesn't display dollar amounts on your dashboard, right? Because you might still want staff to be able to see how many items have been shipped or have been used in a particular PO. So that's it for the role-based visibility and permissions. Thank you for watching.